Hi, everyone. We're flexing through June. Just had the longest day of the year. Always love this time of the year. Love those late evening, sun still out nights, being able to get out and do stuff. So that's where we are. And boy, it's warm across the country. As we work into warm weather times, I'm always reminded this time of the year that our multiple casualty incidents really have a tendency to go up at this time of the year. We've had some storm lines that went through, knocked out power. We end up in situations where we have a lot of power outages causing significant impairment of people's ability to stay at home. And so there we are evacuating places that don't have power, that also don't have elevators. Ooh, is that difficult? Using stair chairs, bringing people down from big buildings with no electricity and where it's getting really hot inside. So this week we happen to do a lot of our multiple casualty incident prep and going over triage tags. It's that time of the year. It's that time of the season. And we can prepare for things like that. This week in COVID, much in the way of good news. So let's talk a little bit about it. First and foremost, our last population that doesn't have a vaccine protection availability got it this week. And actually yesterday, the first jabs were received in the general community of the COVID vaccine for children from 6 months to about 6 years of age. So at that point, if we take and look through the ages, we were really focused on getting the seniors their vaccines. Still know how very important that is to the working age population, to the teenagers, and now we're at the 6 month to 6 year of age with both the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines. So a lot of conversation from our fire EMS people about which is the right vaccine for kids, because for the first time really in looking at the Moderna and the Pfizer vaccines, a little bit of difference in approaches. So let me make it real quick for you. The Moderna vaccine for children is intended to be a 2-shot vaccination, except for the children that have the highest immune compromised conditions. But those 2 shots given 4 weeks apart is our opportunity to get kids immunized in the under 6 age group over a month period of time. And for many of our fire EMS providers who have young kids, they've been waiting for that, and they want them prepped for school years that oftentimes at this point in time begin in August. So just a couple months away. The Pfizer series for children is a 3-shot series given 3 to 4 weeks apart. So first, second, and then third puts you way into August. And so some people are considering the differences. We believe at this point both are about equally effective. The best science tells us that it is. This is a great discussion to have with your pediatrician, and many of the pediatric vaccinations will be given by pediatricians and in the pediatric clinics. And this is a good discussion for you to have with your pediatrician about which one would be better for your child. The safety is very high with pediatric vaccines, as it always has to be, and the effectiveness is very good, despite now us having Omicron as our variant that is dominating this country. So with that great news, then we have the vaccination series that completes our coverage across all of the ages. Other good news this week about vaccines is looking particularly at the seniors and people at risk in the older population, the adult population, is that both Pfizer and Moderna are tweaking their vaccines. And looking at the research on that, they appear to be more effective against Omicron and future potential variants. So just like we do with flu vaccines, we likely will end up tweaking the COVID vaccines and make sure that from year to year, as the variants change, we will be updating. With the mRNA technology, that is much easier to do. Like the flu, each year we decide what variant we want to protect against with the flu, and we adjust the vaccine and manufacture it. Now, the manufacturing of flu vaccines is done in a different way than with the mRNAs. It's a little more complicated. It takes a little more time to get to the flu vaccine. They're doing that right now, preparing for the fall for flu vaccines. And then Moderna, Pfizer doing it now for COVID vaccines. And again, we don't know quite the science yet, but it's possible that we'll be given the two of those together, perhaps even in one jab. So for those adults who have been protected by your original series and one booster, or your series plus one illness, or like me, 3 vaccines plus one illness, so I've had 4 immunizing events, I'm going to wait until the fall to see what it looks like for me getting my next protection against COVID if it's needed. And I am certainly prepping to have a flu vaccination done this fall because it is going to be a big flu year. You might as well go ahead and prepare for it. Another piece of news this week that's really important. We have struggled understanding long COVID. And many of our fire EMS people have had the symptoms of long COVID, which are kind of an inflammatory response that's ongoing in response to the original COVID infection, and symptoms that are disturbing and over time just wearing people out. We believe that some cases getting a vaccination improves the long COVID symptoms. In some cases, getting an antibody infusion improves symptoms. And we believe, as of research published this week, that the Omicron has less long COVID symptoms than the prior variants. So we're watching now in many of my departments that I work with, we're watching the Omicron kind of waves go through. What's really characteristic about the waves over this summer is that we have a little spike in cases and it goes down. There's not a wave building on a wave, building on a wave. It's really almost kind of strange how we have the original bolus of cases, which may include, numbers in the double digits. And then nobody's picking up the secondary cases, particularly in populations where a lot of people are vaccinated. There's probably a good scientific reason for that, because the people who've been vaccinated don't build up as much of the bug for them to distribute to other people. And so even if they're infected and have breakthrough infections because they've had infections before, been immunized before, or both, that they are not capable of sharing the infection as efficiently as the old variants and the old variants in unvaccinated people. So there's probably good science behind the fact that we're not watching wave grow on wave, grow on wave. This week, we appear numerically across the United States to have passed the peak of the current Omicron wave and are heading back down. That would mean really good things for the summer for all of us, and our opportunity to move into the fall with the idea that we will protect against future variants across the globe, make sure that we are getting a lot of vaccines out and protecting more people across the globe so that new variants are not created. And that we have a chance to think about flu and other things for the fall to protect against. So a good news week for COVID. Please, those of you who have children and want to get them vaccinated, talk to your pediatrician, find out which of the two is best for you. For all of the kids, use the summertime to get them boosted up if it is needed for them all the way through the teenage years. For the adults, it probably is wise not to get a boost right now, but to wait until the fall. But if you have concerns or have compromise in terms of your own immune system or being around people around you who don't have good immune systems, talk to your doctor and see what's best as far as timing of a booster for you. And then as we move into the fall, we'll have a chance to use kind of new technology to protect us if it's there. So DocTalk, June, good time of the year. Love these long days. Take advantage of it. Next week, we'll talk more about hot weather events and what's going on across our beautiful summers. Thanks, everyone. Stay healthy, stay safe. Till next week, DocTalk.